video right here and this information on the wind really turned a lot of heads last summer when I did it for the first time. If you've seen the video, it's there's been some stuff added, so it's worth reviewing. There's a lot of good solid information in here, but I wanted to start out by saying that how many times have you heard guys make the statement, well, it was my very first time ever hunting, and they kill, you know, some ungodly 160, 170 inch monster buck with their bow, or they say it was my first time on the property, and or I've only been hunting just a couple years, and these novice and these people who really don't know what they're doing are walking in, picking spots, setting down, and the monster buck of a lifetime shows up on them, and we just have this experienced bow hunters. At times I just sit and shake my head and say, why couldn't that buck come walking by me? And it happens so often that I had to sit and think about it for a while. And this is what I come up with. Because they haven't been taught the wrong way to hunt, they're doing a lot more right than what they think they are. They go in, they sit down, they pick a spot for whatever reason. They pick a spot, this tree looks comfortable, or I can see across this field, or maybe they won't see me here. You know, who knows what goes through the minds of these novices? They might see a big track and sit down by it, you know. Who knows what's going through their minds? But my point being is that we have written ourselves basically a death code that is causing us not to get deer. And it's been handed down from generation to generation, and it is basically an unwritten law. You know, it's like a set of railroad tracks that people are walking down, and they have no idea where they're going or where they came from. They have no idea what powers the vehicle going down these tracks. And it doesn't matter what powers any vehicle that goes down them tracks. They are going to go in the direction of the tracks, and what we're going to do is we're going to come to a fork in the tracks, and we're going to take the one to the left, and we're going to leave the main flow of traffic behind, and we're going to go off on our own, as I did years ago, and we're going to discover why people novice shoot big bucks by accident, I'm going to say, and why a lot of good experienced hunters continue to fail. One of the biggest reasons the novice, you know, luck into these bucks, is how I'm going to call it, is because, like I said, it's what they don't know. They don't know that, oh, you're supposed to set with the wind in your face, which is backwards of what I do. And so when they set down, the wind is really not a consideration. And what happens is a buck coming through just so happens to miss him, and he ends up with a shot and kills the deer. But it's basically totally by accident. I remember on one particular hunt that we had took a guy hunting with us, and we went out onto the property, and we dropped him off, and he headed over to a spot to sit. And as we were crossing the field, he got up and went a little bit further down to sit, and my buddy chuckled and said, he's not going to get anything there. He says he's set up totally wrong for that spot over there. And that night he shot a 140-inch poking young buck with his bow, surprising the daylights out of all of us. What it was is that he just lucked into the deer, because according to my buddy, he couldn't have been set up more wrong. But as it turned out, he was set up exactly right. Now, to take it one step further, hunting camps up north now and all around where you go and pay to hunt property and out west and stuff are purposely setting their clients up with the wind blowing in their face, because they think that the client is going to be satisfied with that. Why? Because that's the conventional way. That is what has been taught down through the ages, that you want to sit with the wind in your face and all that. But in reality, if a deer is traveling quartering into the wind, that puts him coming in behind you. And that's exactly what these outfitters are doing on purpose. They have found out how to keep the number of deer that get wounded on their ranches and in their places of properties that they hunt down to a minimum. And by what they're doing is they're purposely setting the hunter up to where he can't see the animal coming, coming behind them, because they are very aware that the animal is going to travel into the wind. And when the animal breaks the hunter's peripheral vision, now the hunter has time to get ready. And what shot is he left with? Well, he's left with a high percentage quartering away shot. And some guy from the city who only shoots his bow a few times a year needs all the leeway he can get. And so they started setting hunters up in this manner to knock down on the amount of deer that they would have to trail and not recover, and then set the same guy up to have it happen again. So are you setting up correctly with your wind? In the program at the head of my website, I talk about the haunted property and how for 25 years I hunted that property incorrectly, and after I uncovered one shred of evidence that had to do with the wind, it completely turned the tables on the deer. So the wind, being all other variables present, hundreds of them, the wind in the end is what I'm betting my cash on, and will determine where I'm going to hunt on any given day, morning, evening, middle of the day, what stand I will choose among several choices to take. That is what I'm going to be betting my cash on, is the wind. And because the wind not only dictates how they're going to cover the terrain they're going to cover it, it dictates the speed in which they're going to cover it. It dictates when they feel safe and when they don't. It tells you how to go about tracking them. They live and die by the almighty nose. And they use it to communicate, they use it to track one another down, and on and on and on and on and on. And we're going to cover all that and get into great depth with it. But what I wanted to say here is that the wind, it's invisible. It's our invisible, silent partner. It helps us to be able to put ourselves close to a trophy whitetail. If you're going to be a serious trophy whitetail hunter, you must become a student